Hey everyone, welcome to Faith and Justice Podcast. I'm your man, Dr. L.
I am your man, Dr. B, not the Right Reverend Dr. L, just Dr. B.
How many websites you got, man? You got
All
drbconnect.com?
right, so this is my new website, Dr. B Connect. This combines all of my websites. This combines the church website, rest.org. It combines my comedy website, drbcomedy.com. And this website and also combines my Dr. B tcbrentley.com. Also on this website, I sell all of my ebooks and audio books where people can get immediately after they purchase the book as well. So drbconnect.com is my website.
All right.
I have multiple websites, not multiple names to me, like my colleague does.
You do have multiple names. Come on now.
I don't have multiple.
Sometimes you're Dr. B, sometimes you're Tim, sometimes you're
I'm
Dr. Brantley,
consistently, when it
sometimes
comes to
you're
my
Pastor
branding,
Brantley.
sir, Dr. B, sir. Consistently am Dr. B, sir.
Okay. All right. There we go. Starting off already. Great.
Yes, sir.
All right.
We get along well, though. We get along well.
We do. We all right. Everything is going well with me, man. How about you? How's the website going? I mean, how's the book sales going and all that?
I'm excited about drbconnect.com because finally all of my books now, ebooks and audiobooks are, once people purchase them, they get it immediately, automatically. And it took me a while to do it, but finally got to that place where if they purchase it, because I have 32 books in 3 different categories: relationship, intimacy, and theology. And so my 32 books, people now can get them and take it from there. So we thank God for that. And of course, our therapy is writing books, and we thank God for that gift that God's given us. Oh, glory to God.
How many people? How many people, men, would you say? And I'm going to make this today's episode about men, because as Dr. B well knows, that if we want to improve society, right, we got to improve the men, right? Right, we got to improve men. So
Preach, man. Preach.
what percentage what percentage of men really have a problem with intimacy? And this is not what I'm going to start talking about, but since we're here, let's dig into it. You wrote books about it. How many men struggle with that?
I think as men get older, it's a struggle. I heard 30 old men in the barbershop talking about how, because of the honey packs, they are giving a false sense of intimacy with their wives. And this one guy said that this guy's used so many honey packs that now he can't, unless he has a honey pack, he cannot be intimate with his girl. And that's just a judgment on how many men are not being natural. So many men, as they get older, intimacy is a problem. And also for many men, don't understand, intimacy for a woman is not physical. For most women, intimacy starts emotional, mental. So if I'm not treating her right, if I'm not making her a priority, again, I have 3 P's. A man must make his wife a priority. He must protect her, and he must be proactive. If he doesn't do those 3 P's on a consistent basis, then she's not gonna give up the poom poom. That's how they work. And a man must be consistent in his intimacy. So intimacy is not just physical, it's mental.
All right, we're going down a real good serious path here. Why is it that a man has to prioritize that? Or let me get your thoughts about this. Prioritize the 3 P's in order to get something from his, you said wife, correct? From his wife. Now, are you equating wife to long-term partnership? Is those the same things in your mind, or is it
I like
something
to,
different?
because I am a Christian and because I do believe in the Bible. I do like for it to be a husband and wife, but I understand everyone doesn't think like me. But what I'm saying works across the board. That when you give your wife priority, you give her protection, and you are proactive. Why wouldn't a wife want to make sure my husband's pleased? The problem with society today is that many men feel that as long as I give you money, as long as I have a roof over your head, your legs should be open. And most women don't think that way. I'm sorry, wives. Now, these other women that you constantly send me Instagram on don't don't think that way.
That's where I was going, brother. That's where I'm going.
All right. Because women who say on the first date, pay my rent bill on the first date, those type of women, we need to watch out for. There's no doubt about that. Those women are very dangerous, and in the end, will not be helpful for you for where you need to go.
So that's exactly what I want to talk about, or at least ask you about, is that, because these women are bragging about having rosters. These women are bragging about having multiple men, kicking one man out, bringing another man in. They want to get their stuff off. There have been actual articles written about how to not be as emotional in having sexual relations as men are. And what the women are suggesting is, don't look a man in the eye when you're having sex. Don't call his name. Think about somebody else, right? So also they defeat the natural emotional connection that should be built, because they want to live and move and act like men, as if men not connecting and then hitting and quitting, hitting and going is a good thing, and they want to try to emulate that.
Well,
That's what I'm asking about this
I am
connection thing.
I am glad you said emulate, which speaks to the men being leadership. The reason why these women are doing these deplorable things is because they are emulating what they've seen men do. Men have rosters. Well, if I know I can't get it from her, I'll get it over here from this girl. And so men have, again, I'm not, please hear me, the Right Reverend Dr. L. I am not taking responsibility from the women of what they're doing, but you said it perfectly. These women who are doing these things are emulating what's happened to them or what they've heard. And so what they're doing wrongly, they're protecting their hearts. So I'm telling men, if you do right, why wouldn't a woman want to do right? I mean, let's be honest, Dr. L. I'm sorry, the Right Reverend Dr. L. Let's be honest. Women have been done wrong. Agree, disagree, sir.
I'm not. I'm not going to co-sign that wholly. Women have been done wrong. Have some women been done wrong by some men? 100%.
All right. And by you saying these women are emulating what has happened to them, that's all we see in society. Is that these women are putting what happened to them, as women, as men have said, you know what, I got a roster. You told me no for 2 o'clock in the morning. I know another woman out there will tell me yes, 2 o'clock in the morning. So, as you said, they're emulating. But again, uh, in my mind, these women are just hurt and they're trying to protect their hearts in the wrong way.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that in the wrong way, because now they have made themselves, they run up certain numbers of body counts, and they're just moving in a way that is really just despicable. And at the end, they're saying that they don't want it. I read an article one time about a high powered woman who was in these corporate C suites as with these other men, right? And she would go to these big parties and see the men at the parties, and of course, the men, because men are attracted to, or men are attractive to women. Well, women are attracted to high power, high status men, right? They've always have been. All right. When I was in uniform, it was a magnet. All that, it was a magnet. So she's in a place, right, seeing her cohort of guys having their pick of the ladies in there, and they would go in the back room, or they would go take them home for the night, whatever. And she's like, okay, well, I'm in the same position. I want to do some of the same thing. And then she would do the same thing with a younger guy, and she would feel like trash in the morning. Like, why did I do this? No, this guy doesn't care. I really kind of want a connection. He don't want to call me the next day. And so she ended up writing, either she wrote the article or she was a part of, the author's storytelling about how women are tried to move like this, and has worked out to be deeply dissatisfactory, destroying their mental health, Now they're in their 40s, early 50s, don't have any real prospects of anyone to be along to really ride out the rest of their lives with, and they feel like trash because they have looked at certain behaviors and said that's the way to be. So I want to ask you about this idea that we got to continue to prioritize and the three P's that you mentioned: prioritize, protect, and be proactive.
Yes, sir.
Why I'm going to be honest with you. I struggle with that because I don't want to do that. I don't think that is completely necessary all the time. It's just me. Maybe I'm just selfish. Maybe I'm young, naive. I don't know what it is. I don't want to do that. Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys are like, why should I have to coax and do this and do that? And sometimes you do all that and it don't even be worth it. Right.
So you don't do the three P's until you vet. You don't do those three P's until you vet in the dating. You don't do those three P's until you find out, okay, this woman is totally into me. I'm giving out and she's giving out. And when I say giving out, I'm talking about the emotional, the mental side. All right. But so many men will give out easily, and these women, no men will give out easily, and so they will attract these men like, you know what, give me $5,000 and I'll see you again, which to me is nothing but not good. That's just my personal opinion. So it's really vetting, and I can hear your perspective, the Reverend Dr. L, that you don't want to do this. I'm sorry, I'm just reading your description, sir. That's all I'm doing, sir. Uh, so all I'm so all I so all I'm saying in essence is that we got to do better in our society in treating people right. Because guess what? How many times did you see as an officer go to a home and you can see why the juvenile is cutting up? Because you saw how mom and dad makeup was. You saw it. It was inevitable that this child was going to grow up that way. The reason why your children have grew up great because they saw a great example in their father, the right Reverend Dr. L. That's why your two kids are blessed, highly favored, and they are a blessing to society because of what they saw. So a lot of times for the man, we don't understand the legacy that we leave behind and how we affect our kids. I will say to you, and I'll say this publicly, you did a great job with your kids. I did a horrible job. You did a great job, sir. That's why your kids connect with you. That's why, because you did the groundwork. I did not do the groundwork. I was so busy trying to be a pastor of the year that I lost focus. And I am here to admit it, and I apologize to my two kids of what I've done, and only God can take it from there. So again, you said the most powerful word. Women are emulating what they've seen. They are emulating what they experience. And for this woman who are, now that I'm high powered, let me do the same thing with these young dudes and become their sugar mama. But in the end, I want someone that wants me for me, not for the money, not for the fame, not for the fortune.
And don't get me wrong, I think a lot of men want that too. I really do think that they want one woman who's going to raise their kids, be there to rub their belly, to be there to rub their back, to go to the movies with. I think no, I do. I think that they really want that. Do they want their cake and eat it too? Probably a lot of them, but I think that a lot of men, I think that most men really want someone who is their ride or die. I really do believe that. So there's a lot of women. I got a lot of videos to show here
I know
who are
you do, sir.
angry
See him
at
every day,
men. I'm
sir.
gonna try to speed through them here because I know that you let me put a couple up here. So let's dig through here. And these ladies I want to put up here. Many of them are complaining about the lack of men who don't want to date anymore. They don't want to go to mixers, functions to meet, and these ladies are trying to call it out, but they're calling the men weak, calling them names, and doing it. And I'm thinking that ain't gonna work. That attitude that you have is the exact attitude that these brothers are trying to get away from, and they don't seem to realize that their attempt to bring these men to heal It's part of the problem. So let me put this up here.
It's literally a creator that's going viral for talking about the epidemic around men not showing up for dating events. And it's so crazy because I've been noticing this phenomenon over the past couple of years, and many women are struggling to understand that this is the core issue with dating. The men are struggling to be vulnerable.
What the fuck does vulnerable got to do with us not?
I apologize. This guy, I didn't have a time to edit this guy out. He's talking crazy, but I want to get to what the woman is saying.
Women in a place where they're often concerned about not being good enough when in reality you're too good, and the men are struggling. Men are truly pusillanimous. Listen to me. It's giving pussy.
So
Fast forward this clown here.
The men are truly struggling to show up for them to be authentic. And I don't think a lot of them have interpersonal skills, social skills to be able to navigate being vulnerable and giving it your best and being authentic.
Me personally, I would never go to a dating event.
All right, so we're talking about dating events here, and
how is this hard to understand? Is this hard to understand?
In a way, I feel like a lot of men are not prepared for that. I feel like it's a bit difficult emotionally for them. And if someone in general just doesn't have the bandwidth to navigate those circumstances, and it's nerve-wracking for women as well. Like, it puts everyone in a vulnerable space, but as we know, women have a bigger emotional bandwidth, and men, they tend to struggle in that department.
Too bad for the bitches.
And they have research to support this, because this has been something that I've been noticing for quite some time. By the way, I was a psychotherapist at some point, and during private practice, I noticed that a lot of the issues that women were coming into therapy and discussing were literally men not showing up, men ghosting them, or a lot of the circumstances where the woman would be like, oh, things are going great, and out of nowhere, the men kind of disappear.
So then would you say that the women...
Because I'm trying to understand the dynamic now and how all this got misconstrued. Why is it that men nowadays, when it comes to dating, they don't believe in pursuing a woman, aka chasing a woman? What is the big issue with a man pursuing a woman? I don't just mean you making the first move. I mean like you actively pursuing this woman, calling her, texting her, planning dates. Why is it now we're in this day and age where men are like, oh, you could call me, oh, I was waiting on you to call me, I was waiting on you to text me, I was waiting on you to make the first move? For what? Criticize me all y'all want, but I am an old-fashioned girly. I was raised by my grandmothers. I believe in the old school ways and how things are supposed to go. If you that type of man where you think you are the prize, honestly, this video ain't for you, because I believe that women are the prize, because we're the ones that get chose. We're the ones that get picked. When a man findeth a wife, a man findeth a good thing. And I'm not even the type of woman to sit up here and think that I'm equal to a man. I think that a man is most definitely above me. My husband is for sure above me. Your heavenly father, your husband, everything else immediately after that. I'm not the one to sit up here and try to say I'm equal to a man and we on the same. No, we not. A man is above me. My husband is above me. So let's get that clear and out the way. Boom. My biggest issue that I have in my dating life is men are so lazy. I was waiting on you to call me. I was waiting on you to text me. No, sir. You asked me for my number. I gave it to you. It's up to you to call me, check on me, see how I'm doing. You're trying to get me. This is my thing. I don't ever make the first move on a man. I let men come get me. You want me? Come get me. If a man really wants you, he's going to come get you. It's not nothing extra I gotta do. It's not, no. If you want me, you're going to come get me. And the lesson that I learned in my previous relationships was never let a man tell you he don't want you more than once. So when I give you my number and you don't call me or you do all that, that's basically telling me you don't want me. Y'all have no problem pursuing your education. You have no problem pursuing your career. You have no problem pursuing your goals. A house when you want a house, a car. So why is it y'all have an issue with pursuing a woman, a marriage? Because y'all are the ones that pick us for marriage. We don't pick y'all. Y'all get on one knee. This is why I don't date now. I've been on a date in a year. And that is exactly exactly why. It's because I'm so sick of men. Oh, I was waiting on you to call me. Well, you're gonna be waiting until you dead. If you pay attention to like older couples that have like years in, yeah, she didn't really like me at first, and she used to curve me, and then I finally got her. Like, what happened to that? Y'all don't even want the pursuit of a good woman anymore. And I know I'm a good woman. Hell, I got a good career. I have ambition. I have goals. I have drive. I have things going for myself. I know how to treat a man when I have one. So what is the big issue with pursuing a good woman?
Okay, men.
I got one more to play, but I wanted to get your opinions about that.
Sir, biblically, the Bible says, he that findeth a wife, it's not the job for the wife to find the man. Ruth was at Boaz's feet, but Boaz had to take it from there. Excuse me. In other words, she was available to Boaz. So, yes, I am old school. And I tell women all the time, if you're chasing the man, then you're setting a bad precedent. You're telling him that from now on, I will chase you. But no, it's the job of the man to chase his woman, and to make it all well, you keep chasing. That's why I date my wife weekly. Because I'm telling her how much I enjoy her and love her presence. So it's a weekly job that I do, and I take it very seriously. That even buying flowers for my wife today. Why? Because it's my job. I buy the flowers for my wife. My wife loves flowers. So she doesn't buy flowers, neither does she put them in the vase. I do. Why? I'm pursuing. Come on now. I'm pursuing. And that's why flowers are so, men, hear me. I love flowers. Why? Because flowers die. So flowers to me is a reminder, oh, I got to make sure I keep the flowers going. I got to make sure I keep my love, my chase of my wife going. Because when I stop that, then that's when the relationship will go downhill.
I think that women have wrecked the game to such a degree that men don't want to.
No, men have wrecked the game. No, men have wrecked the game.
I think that women have wrecked the game to such a degree that men no longer want to do that. When they engage in these types of behaviors of being boss chicks, of being loud, pushy, arrogant, demanding certain things, claiming to have rosters. Why would I chase a woman who's being actively pursued by 12 other people and she's bragging about it? Why would I do that? Why would any man engage in those types of behaviors? And as the first woman I played, called them a name. And I got another woman who's about to call men another name. So they're calling men names, saying that they're weak, saying this, that, and the other. And then wonder why they don't want to show up to dating events, speed dating events, how there's a room full of men, a room full of women refusing to dance, refusing to talk, refusing to do all these different types of behaviors. They said they don't need a man. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to the internet streets. Said, I don't need no man. I'd rather be in the woods with a bear than a man. All this other type of talk. And women have said these things, and men have said, oh, you didn't hear this one. So women, there was a survey that said it was like a street interview survey, nothing like formalized from a college or anything. But they said if a man was coming at you, was walking up to you in the woods, would you feel more comfortable with a man in the woods, or would you feel more comfortable with a bear in the woods? The women, and multiple times, multiple women, different places, different races, said that they would rather be in the woods with the bear than with a human male. This is what I'm saying, brother. You don't know what's going on out here. You don't know what's going on.
So men, hear me loud and clear. If you have a woman like that, don't be around her. I mean, my current
and that's
wife,
what they're not doing. They're not being around her.
So, but listen. Even though there are women out there, that doesn't mean I should stop doing what is right. See. That's the point I'm trying to get men to do.
How many times are you gonna get punched in the face?
Hang on. What I'm trying to say is that when people do wrong, it don't mean I do wrong too as well. All right. So yes, I disagree with you. It is not because of the women that things are going awry in relationships. The man's the leader. And what the man does, a woman follows. And sir, loud and clear, if the woman doesn't follow, then that's not the woman for you. Very simple. It's very simple.
I agree with that, and that's what a lot of men are saying. Is they're saying these women are not for me. They don't want to. They're loud, rude, arrogant. They feel entitled, and they don't want to follow a man's leadership. They talk openly about not going, 50-50 when it comes to paying certain things. But when you be a leader at certain times, but then nobody leads my home. I played for you the whole Mark Lamont Hill situation. So there's a lot of confusing advice going on out here, and so a lot of men are checking out. Let me play one more piece from this, so we can get one more clue as to how these women are being so insulting to men.
Black men especially, please answer me this. Why is it that many of y'all refuse to go to curated dating events? I'm talking about events where the vibes are already set, the ambiance is right, the music is good, the drinks are flowing. You're basically guaranteed to meet somebody who's actually interested in you and is serious about dating. You're pretty much set up to win. Conversation starters and prompts so there's no awkward silence, a bit of a structured experience, and maybe a little turn up afterward. So my question is it that dating events like this require a certain type of intention and vulnerability, and the patriarchy taught you that pursuing connection with effort somehow makes you less masculine or something? Because the patriarchy told y'all that you're supposed to just stumble into love and not actually prepare for it? Because we see how that's turning out. The women are doing the work. They're showing up, they're investing, they're trying something different, stepping out of their comfort zone, taking risks. Isn't risk-taking a part of masculinity too? So what is it really? Is it the event itself or the unlearning the patriarchy part?
Baby, I promise y'all, I just left a lounge where wasn't nobody in there but single black women dancing by themselves. It got so bad, I saw one woman go get the cook, a man, to go and dance two-step with her. Let me tell y'all something, ladies, specifically black women, because that's my community, right? Y'all, man, not only are y'all going against the design of God, but because you're going against the design of God, baby, you looking desperate. You're thirsty for water, and God is telling you to go to the land of milk and honey where you forgive, heal, and love men again, but you're being hard-headed. Y'all can have that. With y'all single behind, I'm going to the next spot.
Oh, that's you, sir. That was you, the last one.
Yeah, I recorded that video, so I had to record a recording. Go ahead, man. Elaborate for us.
Are frustrated, and I can understand, because they want to have a man. But again, it's going to take both parties, male and female, to say, all right, what do I need to do? All right. And again, some of these men are afraid. They should not be afraid, but a lot of these men are afraid to date strong women. Well, I don't want to deal with a strong woman. Sir, thank God for the black.
Who's ever said that? Who has ever said that?
Sir, I hear it all the time, sir, from my perspective, sir. All right.
And they say, I don't want to date no strong woman. That's what they've said.
They are afraid because they don't know how to, for lack of a better word, how to deal when things are passionate, when things go sideways. And so I don't want to deal with that drama. That's what they say. I don't want to deal with that drama. Or in other words,
what drama? What drama? What drama?
All right. So if something doesn't go right, all right, how do I take ownership? A lot of men don't want to take ownership. So because
you're coming to conclusions. I want to know what they have said.
Sorry. I was talking.
You're jumping to you're making conclusions about what they've said. Tell me what they said, and I'll draw my own conclusion.
Sir, they're saying that I don't want to deal with the drama. I don't want to
deal. What drama?
The drama is, all right, so I forget to do something, all right, and then the wife gets upset with me. I don't want to hear that. Well, sir, if you would be more proactive and remember things that need to be remembered, then the drama would definitely go down. But see, the problem is men don't want to take ownership. The ownership is, for the most part. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely not. Right Reverend. Make sure I get it right.
Come on, man. You've been saying his name for a long time now. Get it right now. Now you got to deal with my drama, right? Get it right. You're exemplifying the problem with men. How many times I got to tell you this, Tim? How many times?
All I'm saying, a lot of men don't want to take ownership. A lot of men focuses on the consequence of the women, but they don't focus on what was the initial seed that I put in the ground for my woman to cut up that way. Because I mean, think about it. Most women are reactionary. They don't get up and just get in a man's face. They don't get up and go off. Most part, it's something the man has done, and the woman reacts. So I'm teaching men, watch this, to be more proactive. All right, and I'm teaching women to be less reactive. Notice what I just said. I'm teaching men to be more proactive, and I'm teaching women to be less reactive. That's it.
The thoughts and opinions expressed by Dr. B are not necessarily held by those of Dr. L in whole or in part. So I just got to give that caveat. I don't know if I agree, but I want to give Dr. B the chance to tell his side about what he is seeing. I don't know if I agree with that, but okay. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a strong woman they don't want to deal with.
Many men have to learn ownership. And guess what? A lot of men have not seen ownership. You know why? No father, absentee father with a sperm donor. So they never seen, or the father was in the home, but he never take ownership. And that's why a lot of men do not take ownership. They never saw an example of ownership. You know what they saw? They saw Adam. What did Adam do? The Right Reverend Dr. L. He blamed Eve. And so many men are still, well, the woman you gave me. That's what Adam said. And men in 2026 are doing the same stupid stuff. The woman you gave me. No. Where were you at, Adam? Where was your responsibility at? And so because a lot of men have not seen ownership, they don't do ownership. They haven't seen it. They haven't seen, say, you know what? My bad. I mean, they'll do it on they may do it on the basketball court, and some men don't even mention, because there's such a spirit of narcissism that I'm always right. The spirit of arrogancy, the spirit of pride in the land. I'm sorry to go spiritual, but I must. There's a spirit of pride, narcissism, and arrogancy in the land that says, it's not me, it's you. No. Matthew chapter 7 says, first judge yourself before you judge others.
All right. I mean, those are your takes. I don't necessarily believe. I pushed back enough. I don't want to keep going on with that. But I do want to say that this is. I don't know if any of that has to do. Well, let me ask this question: How do you recommend? And here's where I will agree with you at: is how do you get men to recognize their folly about not taking responsibility, so we don't have these problems and issues? How to be leaders in the home, to be in the home. How do we get them to do that?
Very good question. The answer is very simple. A man comes in my office with his wife. Doc, she's difficult. I say, all right. Was she difficult when you first met her? 99% of the time, the answer is no. So I said, sir, what's been the consistent since you've been with her? Oh, me. So I'm teaching men, when you take ownership of, listen, look what I've done. I have not been accountable. I've cheated 5 times. I'm not into her feelings. And so after 10 years, she's just wicked, mean person. I want to know why. Because when you married her, she wasn't that way. Because if she was that way, you wouldn't have married her. So it's men saying,
well, was she that way? Okay, go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
She wasn't that way, because if she was that way, right? Or you didn't vet, right? You didn't go through the seasons, right? You didn't go through the seasons of, all right. So when things don't go, goes left, how does things work out? It's understanding the seasons and dealing with the seasons correctly, sir. That's what I'm saying.
I was going to say, how do we know that they weren't like that when they first met? He just ignored the red flags, because a lot of people are simply ignoring the red flags.
I'll give you that.
She snapped at a certain time. This goes both ways. Men are ignoring the red flags in women. So how do we get people to recognize that this was a problem all along. She was always a babe. He was
If
always a bum.
if anything with this subject matter, men over 50, how about this? Very simple. Sir, notice the flags. Stop noticing her shape. Stop noticing her hips. Stop noticing her breasts and her lips and everything else that's sexual. Notice the red flags. The Right Reverend Dr. L, you hit it right on the nail. Sir, instead of you noticing how she looks, notice her temperament, notice her emotions, notice her mental capacity. Because when you don't do that, you'll fall. And sir, young bucks, hear Unc, all right? Hear Uncle right now. Don't just look at how she looks. Look at how she is, all right? Because she can look like a dime, but treat you like a penny. So if anything, the Right Reverend Dr. L have said it correctly. Do not ignore the signs, especially when you're doing long distance dating, especially because when you guys connect and see each other regularly, you'll find out who the real person is very quickly. So the Right Reverend Dr. L, you hit it right on the mark. A lot of people are not noticing the signs that are right in front of them. Very good, sir. I totally agree.
Now, my other question would be: how, is that a? You said men over 50. This has got to be a question or a concept we got to tell guys in their 20s, because a guy over 50 is like, nah, forget that. And I'm going to play a video proving my point about that. But these guys who are young, who are thinking with their little head, are overlooking this type of thing because, I'm overlooking the fact that she's mean, she's not nurturing, et cetera, because of her hips, because of her lips, because of her fingertips.
Young bloods, hear the men here who have a little gray on us. All right. Don't look at how she looks. It's deeper than that. Matter of fact, sometimes, not all the times, because I want to paint a wide brush. Sometimes the prettiest ones may have issues. All right. Why? Because they use their beauty to cover up their pain. And then when you get close to them, you really see the pain that's inside of them. So it is very young bloods, hear us loud and clear. Before you copulate, before you walk down the aisle, let me see the mental and the emotional state of mind of this woman. Because a woman, my God, will nurture you or destroy you based on what type of woman you get. Because you can do everything right and still destroy you. Why? You didn't do the vetting. So don't look at, oh man, she looked great in that dress. No. How about this? She looks great in the situation that we're in. In other words, when things go left, how does she act? Does she embarrass you in public? Does she yell at you? Does she curse you out? Does she emasculate you? You got to find that thing out before you marry. And it is true, look at her mama. Based on what her mama is doing, it's a good possibility of what she may do to you as well.
How are you for time, brother? How are you for time?
I got about 10 more minutes, sir. I got 10 more minutes. Yeah.
All right, let's finish this off, man, because I want to talk about.
This is a very good point you're bringing up, the Right Reverend Dr. L. Very good point, sir.
Yeah, experience is a mother.
Listen, guys, if y'all be honest, all right, ladies, I ain't talking to y'all. Guys, if you be honest, that woman you dated that had all the assets going on, if you be honest with yourself, you left that relationship because either after marriage or before marriage, like, you know what? This ain't working. All right. And many of us saw the red flags and we still married them. Why? Because they're so pretty. No. Beauty is important, but what's really on the inside of that person is everything. That's why I definitely married my wife, because she's a natural beauty. She's a natural beauty outside and inside. Matter of fact, her inside makes her outside even more beautiful versus the outside making the inside beautiful. Because eventually, if young bloods, hear us loud and clear. Eventually, what's on the inside is going to come out on the outside. Guaranteed. guaranteed.
I agree with that. A lot of ladies are leaving church. I played a video of, or at least I sent you a video. I want to try to play a little bit of this here, just a couple of minutes, so we can get the idea about why women are leaving church. Video file. I did reach out to this particular lady who hosts this podcast. I've not heard back from her whether she's willing to come on or not. But I had to. I recorded this here, so we'll listen to a little bit of this.
So, religion.
I want to get to the point where she has some sisters up here talking, and they're going to tell us why they left the church.
On the screen. And let's get into the rewind. I'll see you in a minute.
So I grew up as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. It's a very particular and specific religion, which has very, again, specific roles for men and women. And growing up in that religion and also being an adult in that religion and being single taught me a lot about systems of power, what they expect of women, and the difference between what you're taught and what your lived reality often is. Okay. And my experience of leaving religion unexpectedly, because it was never a plan for me. I never saw a life outside of that religion. My entire identity was consumed wholeheartedly, full-heartedly in my faith and my religion. Okay. And so
I want to get to a couple of different people here. That's one lady she had talking. There was another lady who was a very Christian, Pentecostal lady. I want to get to her because I know you're pressed for time. I think it's this lady here.
In a missionary Baptist church that people likened more to a cult than an actual Baptist church. We had a separate decorum that you were supposed to follow. It was written out and given to every member. And if you violated any part of the decorum, you had to come to conference, which was every third Wednesday. And if you had a significant violation, they would take away what was called your right hand of fellowship. And you would have to do some things to get your right hand of fellowship back. I had difficulties in this church the entire time that I was in it. I had several times that I got into trouble when I was a teenager and had to be called in to speak to all the deacons. I was forced to apologize on several occasions. I actually paid attention to the sermons, and I would point out when things were contradictory or didn't make sense, either internally or against the Bible, and they did not like that. And I
want to play the last lady here. I know I'm kind of breezing through this here, but I wanted to get all the ladies' experiences. That was a missionary Baptist church. This lady, I think, was Pentecostal.
Feel more fervent than Baptists. In fact, we used to say that the Baptists weren't really saved, that the Pentecostals were. And so I grew up in a fire and brimstone kind of church. You had to be baptized with the Holy Ghost with evidence of speaking in tongues. And if you didn't speak in tongues, you weren't really saved, or you hadn't had the full baptism of the Holy Spirit. And so I was raised Pentecostal in the Caribbean. And I think Pentecostals in the Caribbean is like Pentecostals here on steroids. I grew up with a mother that didn't wear pants. She was not allowed to wear pants. She didn't wear jewelry, never wore makeup. I think the only thing my mother allowed herself to do was to perm her hair. And that was almost a scandal when she permed her hair. So we grew up we dressed modestly.
All right. So I just wanted to get a little taste of that. And this is called Coffee. What is that? Coffee No Cream. Summer Rewind. The name of the channel is Coffee No Cream, and Black women are leaving the church. Here we had a Pentecostal woman, a missionary Baptist woman, and a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
So I want to get your thoughts about these ladies and their experiences here.
I definitely understand why, because the church I came out of, well, I'm still a part of, old school teaching it was all about the women, what women were doing. Couldn't wear pants, couldn't wear lipstick. I mean, open-toe shoes. I mean, list went on. And I remember as a kid, well, what about the men? I mean, even as a kid, I remember why is there so many rules for the women and not for the men? And so I understand how women are feeling this way, because it's like, wait a minute. If the man's a leader, and he is according to scripture, why isn't there more subject matters on the men, but you have so many subject matters on the women, right? And a lot of times, let's be real, the Right Reverend Dr. L. A lot of these men were preaching from their own bedrooms, because their wives were not submissive. Their wives were difficult. So they put that out there. And the reason why their wives were difficult was because the husband
I knew you was gonna. I caught that, brother. I caught that. The women were difficult, and you had to clean it up. You had to make sure the men were
they were
responsible.
difficult. Let me finish. They were difficult because the man was not making them a priority, was not being proactive, and was not protecting them. That's why. So many of these sermons about women in the past, even to the present, were men just really expressing their own discontent in their own homes.
So these
I ain't gonna let it
ladies,
go, sir. If we are the Lord help me, if we are the leaders, then if we do right,
are we the leaders?
sir, biblically, biblically, and I stand on the word of the Right Reverend Dr. L. Biblically, we are the leader. So there's no question, we are the leaders. And the reason why so many relationships have gone awry and gone stray is because men are not taking ownership in a leadership role, sir.
There's a woman who I had on my podcast. Her name is Diane Stewart, Dr. Diane Stewart. She wrote a book, Black Woman, Black Love, or something like that. And she really broke it down. I had Delano Squires. He just wrote a book. We covered that concerning the reclamation of the Black family. And both of these individuals have acknowledged. In fact, Joy Reid, there's a video clip that I just saw the other day. The former MSN host, who is now YouTube sensation Joy Reid, had a guy on, the guy who was going to be running for the governor in Florida. I forget his name, black dude, Byron Donald, I think his name is. And he was saying many of the things that you are, the black, well, let me not say what you are. He's saying, Byron Donald was saying that black men were the leaders, and black men, we had a much stronger family values back then. We were protectors and this, that, and the other, talking about Jim Crow. Specifically, he was talking about Jim Crow. It's a viral clip. I'll try to put it in the description of this, send it to you so you can watch it. So Joy Reid was kind of cooking this guy. And here's my assessment of that. Black men have deliberately been emasculated in this country, and black women were intentionally put on. We talked about the Moynihan report. We talked about us with Delano Squires and all this. So are we the leaders? In the question is today, 2026, are we allowed to enter into and be the leaders, not only in the home, but in general society? Would a black man with a similar education to a black woman be hired at the same rate? And it shouldn't be a competition, and I don't want it to be a competition, but unfortunately, it is a competition. So are we the leaders, not only in our homes? Should we be the leaders in our homes? Some ladies don't want to have leadership, headship, particularly those of the educated class, i.e. Mark Lamont Hill's wife, Melissa. So where is the state of black men 2026 leadership, society, social mobility, etc.?
Our society right now is really relationship. It's what I feel, my truth, and we gotta get to a place that we gotta get rid of this my truth and what is the truth. You got the WNBA with allowing men who are transitioning to women to play. And then they're asking, what is a woman? In my personal opinion, I think we got to stick with DNA. We got to stick with chromosomes. XX, woman, XY, men. Simple. But again, we live in a society where everyone is questioning truth. Okay. All right. So you jump off a 100-foot building, and you say, you know what? I can fly. You know, my truth is I can fly. All right. I dare you to jump off that building, and I guarantee you ain't flying. If anything, you're dying. And the same way we do truth about that, we got to do it as well as relates to, about relationship. The truth is, people, there are a lot of hurt people out there who have not healed from what happened to them as a child or in their time of their lives. They haven't healed. And until they heal, they will continue this proverbial cycle that's going on.
I'm looking for that debate that I was going to put on here. So, okay, so I mean that's pretty. I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned the WNBA. And what are your thoughts about that? I mean, should the
If
men
I
be
had
allowed to play? Or
if I had a female child, and she's playing soccer against another man, I'm a boy, absolutely not. I was watching. I think her name is Carissa Shields. She had a boxing match this weekend, and she boxed against another woman, and she did a excellent job. But I said to myself, would I want to see a woman boxing a man? The answer is no. I wouldn't want to see that. All right. So if I wouldn't want to, I mean, this is just me personally. I mean, maybe you want to see that, but me personally, seeing a man box a woman, absolutely not, because we all know the truth of the size and the strength of a man. So why would I want to see that on a basketball court with men just moving women around, possibly hurting them while they go up and play basketball or dunk or do a layup, whatever it may be. So that's just my personal opinion, that if I had a daughter 10 years old, I would not want her playing against a young man who transitioned into being a woman, because I'm afraid that my baby girl might get hurt out there. That's just me personally.
yeah.
What's your opinion, sir? Don't leave me out there by myself. What's your opinion, sir?
I second that. I think that we have created a mess in this society, and you knew this was coming. Anyone who was forward thinking knew that this was coming. That any type of female league, the women, eventually, men who could not cut it would want to join their leagues. I think that there are real physiological differences between men and women. Men, because of their hearts are bigger, lung capacity is greater, bone density, all these different physiological issue. I'm hesitant to call them benefits, but they certainly are benefits to men, because we've had to go out to war, run away from big, strong animals, take them down. We had to do all this type of stuff, right? Fight against other men.
So for the same reason a woman is not in the NFL, is the same reason why a transgender should not be in the WNBA.
And then the NFL, to my knowledge, NFL, NBA has never had to create rules. There are no rules, in fact, about women joining those leagues, because there's a standard and they just can't meet that standard. In fact, I remember years ago that there were women trying out for the WNBA, for the NBA. I think if I remember serves me correctly, the current coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks, the women's basketball coach, I believe her name is Dawn Staley, tried out for one NBA team.
Did not know that.
And there's been other ladies who have tried out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. So I'm going to know this off of memory, but I've seen others try out, and they just can't make it. They can't run as fast. They're not as strong. They can't get down in the post. Right? Their reaction time isn't the same. It just isn't.
Let's take this deeper. In the Olympics, there are women 100-meter dash, and there's a men 100-meter dash. Why is that different? Because they are the male and the female. The male is faster than the woman, and it is what it is. Let me look it up real quick. All right, let's look this up real quick.
So there's I got to correct myself here as you're looking that up. There was a lady, Ann Myers Drysdale, the only woman to officially try out for an NBA team, participating in rookie camp and trying out for Indiana Pacers in 1979. I was a young guy, so I mean, And there's another one, Louisa Harris, 1977, drafted 137th overall in the 7th round by the New Orleans Jazz. She was the first and only woman officially drafted into the NBA whose selection stood. She denied training camp or tryout as she was pregnant at the time. So I thought that Dawn Staley did, but I'm
Right.
glad to be corrected in my own time.
All right. So the women, the 100 men. So in Paris, the men who won was Noel Lyles. He ran a 9.79 second for him to win his gold. Julian Alford, I'm probably saying this wrong, Julien. When she run, it was 10.72 seconds. So again, you see there is a difference in men running and women running.
Right, and it's not.
Okay,
it's not just that. Yeah, it's it's the speed, it's the distance. The fastest sprinters, period. As far as time, is always men. Distance runners, marathon, it's always men. And to if you can't compete with the big dogs as a man, and you want to drop down to another level, and then dominate. Come on, man. Come on. How do you even look at yourself in the mirror?
Bad luck. Bad luck. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I gave you extra time because I like you, sir.
All right. I'm going to play a video here while you drop off for the audience here so we can finish off.
Thank you,
brother. I appreciate you.
The Right Reverend Dr. L. Thanks for having me. People, please go to my website, drbconnect.com. Bless you guys.
All right. We'll talk to you. All right, everyone. I want to finish this off with a video about 50-year-old men. These are for the older guys here, and why they are refusing to chase, why they're refusing to go after. And this video, I think, here sums up a good portion. This is an AI video. I don't particularly like those very much. And you got to be careful with them because he states in here, he being the author who allowed this to be uploaded, put in here some different articles, and previous video that I did from my other channel did have some mistakes. So I did notice that one time when I did react to this man's video, it did have some mistakes. So you got to be very careful with that. I did not check this information, but I did think that the vast majority of it was good. I did not vet all of this, but I think it's worth listening to as to what is going on with men. So here we go here.
What you're seeing is a man who literally does not have the wiring set up for that kind of exposure. He was built to endure. He was built to provide. And by the time he's in his 50s, the muscles for that kind of open pursuit are atrophied. He couldn't do it convincingly if he tried, and he knows it, so he doesn't try. That's what happens when you spend a lifetime being handed a script that says you're only valuable when you're unbreakable. You start to believe cracking is the same as failing. And here's where it gets interesting, because there's a poll from NPR done with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and Harvard School of Public Health that Code Switch covered. That poll found that 57% of single black adults, both men and women, said they were not looking for a long-term relationship. 57% on both sides. But here's the split. Among the people who were looking, 43% of single black men said they wanted a long-term relationship versus 25% of single black women. So the men who want it more than the women do. But the majority of both, they're out. They're not on the market for that. That reframes the whole conversation. Because the story people love to tell is that black men are the ones running from commitment while black women are sitting there waiting. That poll says something different. It says a majority of single black adults, period, aren't chasing long-term partnership right now. It's a shared exit. And when a Gen X man notices that,
it's a shared exit. Neither one are seeking partnership. So we can talk a lot about this, but to me, a big problem is that men and women, this is my opinion. Dr. B's not here to give his. I just don't think that men and women need each other anymore. And when there's no need, you can just write people off. Somebody doesn't call me back or right immediately. Somebody texts back too quick. Somebody doesn't text back quick enough. I got another guy. This guy isn't tall enough. This guy doesn't make enough money. This guy, his beard doesn't connect. When we don't need each other, we end up with this. And to a 50-year-old guy, I started this video in the middle of the presentation here, But a 50-year-old guy who has been through the ringer, who's been through a couple of marriages, maybe one marriage, long-term commitment, raised his kids, paid child support, had to give up half of his assets via a divorce, who's been through these types of things in his 50s at minimum, is saying, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not searching for that anymore. So I want to rewind just a little bit here so we can hear that again.
Aren't chasing long-term partnership right now. It's a shared exit. And when a Gen X man notices that, and trust me, he notices, because he's paying attention even when he's quiet, the pursuit calculus shifts again. Why would he chase hard into a market where more than half the people in it, on both sides of the aisle, are telling pollsters they're not even looking for what he'd be chasing them toward? Now let me hit you with something that surprised me when I saw it. There's data from the Survey Center on American Life, Daniel Cox's work, that got covered by the National Desk. It looked at teenage dating across generations. Only 23% of Gen X men said they didn't date during their teenage years. Compare that to 44% of Gen Z men. So Gen X men, as a generation, actually dated almost.
So if you're not aware of this, 44% of men, I believe it's 18 to 25, I believe, are not even thinking about a relationship. A lot of people are talking about this. They're not even thinking about it. Men and women have grown so far apart thanks to a multitude of forces, feminism, the economy, this social media influence telling, as I mentioned before, about, women would rather be in the woods with a bear. All this type of thing has driven the mindset of men and women further apart. Men have become sedated by other things. Women have become sedated by other things, the pursuit of careers, et cetera, et cetera. We got 36 now. We didn't mention it before, but now we have 36-year-old Ocasio-Cortez, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is now considering thinking about running for president or maybe vice president. And because of that, because of her wanting to boss up, she's freezing her eggs. It's become a national scandal. Scandal is probably too strong of a term, but it's become a national story where she is freezing her eggs. And because women are just not thinking about that. And I've had multiple conversations with a lot of different people who women have said, listen, I don't want to do that. Women don't want to raise children. And they're not concerned about that. It's not where they want to be. And women, there's a therapist who was on YouTube. I reacted to her before, and she said that because of the situation that's going on between men and women, a man has to bring more to her than wanting to, bear children. Women are no longer going to be, these are almost her exact words, want to be used for building legacy for a man. You have to bring them comfort, joy, be some type of addition to their life. And I'm not going to disagree with that wholeheartedly, that, a man ought to be some type of asset outside of building or using her as a baby making machine. I certainly agree with that. But to not want to have children at all, or to be 36 years old and talking about freezing your eggs, well, how long you don't want to do this for, right? If Ms. Cortez, just her for an example, if she would have had a baby, 18, 19, 20, gotten out the way, the kid would be, 16, 17 years old by now. She'd be able to pursue her career. And I think that the same thing would be said for a lot of other ladies, but they're putting it off, and now they want to freeze their eggs. And this is causing a problem. I mean, obviously women are autonomous human beings who can do what they want, but this is where we're at. This is where we're at.
8 and 10 of them were in the mix as teenagers. This is not a generation of men who missed romance. They had it. They lived it. They know what it feels like. So when a Gen X man in his 50s tells you he's not chasing, understand what he's actually saying. He's a guy who learned and did it and ran the whole loop. Dating, relationships, maybe marriage, maybe kids, maybe divorce, maybe the support payments, maybe the years of putting himself back together, and came out the other side with a considered opinion. This is experience talking. And when experience tells you to sit one out, that's a different kind of no than a young man's no. That's a no you should probably respect. Let's stack up what we've got so far. He's in a cohort where marriage collapsed around him over 30 years. He's in a subset where remarriage after divorce is statistically less likely than for any other group. He's in a financial situation where continued support obligations mathematically reduce his likelihood of pairing up again. He was built emotionally to suppress the very vulnerability that pursuit requires. And he's in a dating market where more than half the eligible people on both sides say they're not looking for long-term anything. And you're asking him why he's not chasing. Brother, he's not chasing because he can count. Now here's the piece that doesn't show up in the studies, but if you know these men, you know it's true. There's a piece they built, a specific, hard-earned piece. His apartment is quiet. His refrigerator has exactly what he put in it. Nobody's mad at him about something from 3 weeks ago. Nobody's checking his phone. His money is his. His time is his. His weekends belong to him. If he wants to sit on his couch and watch a documentary about ancient Rome for 6 hours, nobody's rolling their eyes. He didn't have that in his 20s. He didn't have it in his 30s. Might not have had it in his 40s either. He built it slow, and he's not giving it back for a maybe. He'll give it.
So that last part about the peace that a man has is invaluable. It's invaluable. I'm a man in my 50s, and the peace that I have, the quiet that I have, what I put in the refrigerator, everything the man said is what I put in the refrigerator, where I go, where I come, who I answer to, what questions I have to answer. It's invaluable to a man. And you know, unfortunately, this is going to be hard for ladies to overcome. And a lot of times, as mentioned, the ladies are not interested in overcoming that either. They built their own peace. They've got their own social networks. What do they need with a man besides, you know, come through once or twice a week, do what we do, and just keep it moving, keep it pushing. Women are talking like this and acting like this. Okay, so here, this is where we're at. And I started this particular video here at the halfway point. The man, or at least the AI, built out a framework of saying all the things that are going wrong. He talked about how a Generation X man marriage collapsed because women went into the workforce, because of different changes in the laws, because of a number of things. Marriage collapsed. Marriage divorce rates were whatever they were prior to no fault divorce. Then after no fault divorce, they just felt the marriage retention rates or success rates went just bottomed out. We all know that. He also talked about you know, the possibility of going through different financial situations, the emotional regulation that goes into relationships as Generation X men, particularly Black men who were trained to be non-emotional, who were trained to be a certain type of way. And so when you take that man who was trained to be a certain type of way, and the mental effort that now needs to be put into maintain a successful relationship, it's a completely different game. So, and he's been through, if he has been through any type of financial ruination in his life, or bad breakup, you take that coupled with the financial loss and coupled with everything else, his emotional level of tolerance. We've got a man here, or we've got men here who are saying no, thank you. And of course, as was mentioned, when the women, I don't know if I caught this part, but when the women, both genders don't want to be married to the same level as they did before, and the women, and when they do want to be married, more men want to be married than more women. So you got a good man out here who's done the right thing, maybe he's a few years away from retirement, if not already retired, and his prospects about when he looks out into the world and sees, you know, these different issues, problems that he needs to overcome, and then couple that with the idea of the type of women we played at the beginning of this, who are angry, who are, in my estimation, just not marriage material, because they're angry about a certain thing. They want to put men down. Many of them, unfortunately, in the Black community, and I'm not going to make this show about that, but Black community are just, from an aesthetic point of view, just not marriage material. This is where we're at. So hit me in the comments, hit us in the comments, go over to our channels there, and make sure that you check everything out. I do appreciate Dr. B for coming on. If you're not subscribed to my other podcast, Dr. L's podcast, go over there and check that out. Dr. L's Breakdown as well. Go over to, and here we are in Faith and Justice. Check out Dr. Brantley and all of what he's got going on there. And make sure you hit the like button on this video. Subscribe, share. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the conversation going. If you have something you want to talk to us about, please make sure that you send us an email at faithandjustice faithandjusticepodcast at gmail.com. If you have a subject for you that you'd like for us to talk about, or if there is a video that you'd like for us to review, we would love to hear from you. So just let's keep the conversation going and growing. Much love and peace, everyone. Take care. Take care. Hit the like button.